The Brooklyn Solutions platform has an advanced compliance and regulatory reporting capability. What we have is a repeatable approach to either internal policy or external regulation where that you need to capture a set of metadata continually, regularly, make sure that's curated from multiple data sources, and then that enabled to be reported against and then extracted in the format that either the regulator or those who are looking at the reports desire it to be in. That's as simple in the platform as determining a framework scope, so which suppliers are in scope or which contracts are in scope of a regulation. For example, the Prudential Regulatory Authority in the UK and the European Banking Authority in Europe have for the last several years had something called an outsourcing regulation, where critical business elements for financial services companies are outsourced, and there's a definition of what that means, but it is a subset of suppliers. It's not typical to a segmentation as you would see within most organisations, so critical suppliers, important suppliers, etc., down to not so important suppliers. It's a new demographic. It's a group of suppliers that have been outsourced, either all or part of a critical business process. And in those cases, it needs to capture a certain metadata. And within the Brooklyn platform, we have out-the-box configurations for well-known regulation, but essentially you can define metadata that needs to be captured in tabular groups, so you can put them together and represented by the regulation construct under the tab. You can then put together compliance rules, so compliance rules are where that data is missing, an alert is generated, bring in an operator, so a supplier manager or a contract manager's attention to it to say that that data is required. Either documents needed to be loaded or information needs to be added to those fields, and there's visual indicators for that. We have the ability to report at a scale, macro level, in a clear RAG-based format, what's missing, who needs to do what the current coverage is at a company-wide level, business unit level and team level. And then where necessary that the regulator asks for reporting in a specific format, we then ensure that the users of your platform or the users of Brooklyn are protected from having to generate somewhat painful templates or update painful templates that are in formats that aren't that sensical or easy to use. We can protect the user from that and available to download those in real time. So what this means from the benefits perspective is that we've got the ability to seamlessly submit to the regulator, and those registers going to the regulator. We have the ability to ensure compliance and submission accuracy because we keep that integrity of that accuracy as agreed with the regulator, and it's only the data that's put in that's bubbled up to that format. It's really efficient from a data management perspective, and we've got actionable insights that come out of the platform because it integrates the data with the feeds and the inputs, etc. It can be run at any scale, any level of auditability because it's enterprise grade, and it gives you a line of sight into a series of trusted referenceable sources. What you can see here within the platform, what we've used example is the EBA's DORA regulation. So European Banking Authority have a regulation called DORA. It means the Digital Operational Resilience Act, and it's for a certain subset of suppliers to ensure that they are demonstrating that they are resilient. So there's a lot of data capture that's required. In this case, what you can see is that at this level, what is missing is there is a date of integration into the register is missing. So what date was this organisation added to the register? And what you can do is then click here and you can go and update that information and ensure that that is compliant. So not only is that under DORA regulation, it's part of the DORA reference RT012. So these are references that relate exactly to the regulation as defined by the EBA. What that then does is then carries that forward into a very unfriendly looking format here, which is the way that the regulator wants the reporting, and this is all the line items coming out in the reports for the reporting that they require it in. But the more useful element that is typically relied upon by management is how compliant am I across all of my contracts? How many of the rules have I got satisfied? Where am I with my readiness across my segmentation? So my Tier 1 suppliers, Tier 2. If I then switch to see, well, how many from a contract view level, how many are compliant or non-compliant? These are the total scope. These are the contracts. They're all under an organisation called Initech. We're looking at the Initech organisation, and we can see that there are a few of them that are compliant and been fully populated, but there's a number of them that need work, 4 in this case. And if by clicking onto each of these individually, we'll end up with a view like this, which is about the software provisions one that says all of it's 100%, it's got all 43 compliance rules met, and you can see the information of all those 43 compliance rules here. As mentioned, we can do this for a number of existing regulations and frameworks that we actively support. All regulations and frameworks from the PRA, or the EBA, such as outsourcing critical third parties or DORA, as we just shown. We can do it against ISO standards, so 27001, 9001. We can do it against cyber frameworks, NIST, SANS, ISF, etc., if that information is useful. And we also can do it against all the sustainability goals that are part of the ESG stack, as shown here. I won't mention them all because there's a vast amount. But essentially what we proved, because you can customise the platform for any type of metadata, for any field type and any compliance rule, we can use exactly the same approach for anything you want to measure to ensure that it's been updated and completed in a timely fashion, and that reporting done at scale and also on a granular basis. You'll be able to drill down and get to that information. So very powerful for regulated businesses, but also powerful those that just want to make sure their data is being populated and maintained in a compliant manner to their internal policies.